This episode, we're talking back to school. Welcome to ESTV REWIND, the show that takes a look at some of the news, events, and recent happenings here at SJII. I'm your host, Jacqueline, and recently we all returned to school after a well-earned break, ready for another action-packed year. Each year typically begins with staff coming back a little earlier to get things organized for the term ahead. And for the very first time, there was a greater focus on having both elementary and high school staff come together even before school starts. The first day finally arrived. Everyone looked raring and ready to go, and very smart in their new uniforms. Our newest ESTV REWIND reporter, Michaela, went out and about to discover what some of our staff and students got up to these holidays.
How are your holidays and what did you get up to?
My holidays were very relaxing. We went to Australia and it rained almost every day, so I got a lot of reading done.
They were very tiring because in 72 hours I took a night train. I went dog sledding. I watched the Northern Lights. My mom went on a motor skiing thing, and then we took a train back to the airport.
It was very cold. I went back to England to visit some family. I went ice skating, and yeah, it's just cold.
On my holidays, I went to Australia. I went to Sydney and I did some surfing. And I saw my friend Flynn. He plays rugby with me.
It was really fun. I went to Sydney and then I stayed at my grandparents' place. We visited the beach quite frequently, the local Terrigal beach. It was fun.
My holidays are great. I went home to Australia. It was summertime. I went fishing and I caught a fish this big.
Well, my holiday was really fun because I went on a really fast speedboat in Australia.
My holiday, it was very cold and we went to Japan and we also did skiing and we also met our grandparents.
Fun. So I stayed at Singapore and my cousins came to visit me and it was very exciting.
My holidays were wonderful. They were joyful, and I spent the time with my family and my friends.
My holidays were really exciting, and I swam with dolphins on Christmas Day, and we learned how to communicate with them. I also went to the beach and swam in a lagoon. It was very fun, and we also went to Bangkok to go shopping and go to a mermaid cafe. It was very nice. And it was very exciting.
Really exciting. I actually went to the North Pole and I met Father Christmas. I did. He's a really jolly guy.
Schools are very busy places, and last year, the host of our very first Spotlight show, Nadia Tan, spoke with elementary school principal Mr. Mooney about his plans to make sure there was a good balance of both classroom and other activities for both staff and students. ESTV reporter Nina recently caught up with Mr. Mooney to find out how the last 6 months have been and what his plans are for this year.
How would you sum up your first 6 months at SJIIES?
Oh, that's a really good question. I would say very busy. I joked to everybody saying that every day was an adventure, but every day continues to be an adventure at this school. So I would say, summing up, it's been a very, very busy 6 months for me.
Following up on your comments in the Spotlight show last year, what are some of the noticeable changes this year as far as the calendar and busyness go?
Yeah, another good question, actually. So we worked very, very hard, the management team and the staff, the teaching staff, to make sure that we got the calendar for the whole school year done, completed, and online for all the mums and dads and for all the students to use before we broke up for the Christmas holidays. So it was all done and online before December the 14th. And what we did in that process, we tried to spread things out so that we didn't have weeks where there would be 5 or 6 major events going on in the school. That we were aiming to try and keep it down to maybe 1 or 2, but spread out. And if you take some time and have a look at the calendar, or get your mum and dad to have a look at the calendar, you will see that there's a balance now where there wasn't a balance before. The only problem with all of that is that it's very difficult to plan a calendar for a whole year in advance. So we know, for example, that the Access Sports fixtures sometimes are only formulated 3 weeks before they happen. So we've made sure that all the mums and dads know that, but that the main events and the main things are all there on the calendar. So we've worked really hard on that. And the other thing we did for an internal thing that was really important, and Mrs. Hazelwood was fantastic on this. She managed to make sure that the timetable for the boys and girls and for the staff was all done and finished before we broke up for the holidays as well. So we've made some really big steps forward in our sort of school organisation to make sure that it's a sort of like calmer situation as the year progresses.
Thanks, Nina. Sounds like another busy year ahead. Well, I guess it's time for all of us to go and get to work. On behalf of both Michaela and Nina, I'm Jacqueline, and we'll see you next time on ESTV Rewind.